is EFT for Christians. All right, this is like a newbie kind of book, awesome book. Also EFT for Christians Advanced. And then, and that one is change your feelings, change your life. And this one is EFT for Christians, tapping into God's peace and joy. All right. And all three of these are by Sherry Rice Smith. And then she also has, with this one, another doctor collaborating with her on it. And then another really great tapping resource is Tapping Q&A. He has a podcast as well as a website. Really great resource. He has a podcast that actually it is called, you can like just Google, or you can go through his podcast and search for a topic of should Christians tap or can Christians tap? And it's a really good eye-opening kind of podcast to just kind of explain the modality of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and to be able to understand exactly what it is all about, so that, you know, we as Christians can feel guarded and secure and safe in knowing that taking advantage of EFT is truly our God-given right. It is an amazing modality to help us strengthen our armor for everything that our Lord asks of us. All right, so why we're going to tap today, and what does ClariCalm have anything to do with it? So Monday, I blogged about ClariCalm, and specifically to how my daughter felt that I needed it last week due to other things. If you haven't had a chance to read that blog post, definitely go check it out. It was a lot of fun to write. I know that might sound kind of strange, me just pouring out my heart sometimes in my blogs, in my blog posts, but they are fun. They're fun because I like to be able to see who all I'm able to connect with and who it's able to, you know, create some drops of joy and drops of hope. So today we're going to put whatever oil you have with you, you're going to take it and you're going to put it on your hand, all right? And I'm going to use ClariCalm. Take a sip of my water real quick. Clears my throat. All right, I'm going to rub it together. All right, so 3 times. All right, you can also put it on your pulse points if you want to, put it on the back of your neck. All right, you can put it on your heart area, wherever you feel called to be able to put the oil to create some release and some relaxation. So sometimes we may not know what's going on inside of us. All right, so tapping has itself an actual sequence, right? But we don't have to do the sequencing. When we don't know what's going on, we are feeling emotional, but we can't quite grasp the specific emotion or the specific lie from the enemy that's going on, we can tap. We don't have to go through the sequence. We don't have to do the setup. We can just tap. So I like to a lot of times just go to where the collarbone is at, right by the collarbone. There's some really great acupressure points there, especially when it's dealing with the heart of what is going on. Sorry about that. My phone, lovely interruptions, right? So a lot of times if I'm trying to figure out what is going on emotionally, it's dealing with the heart, right? So I'm going to go to this particular tapping point. But sometimes, you know, if I'm feeling pressure here, I just might be tapping on the side. But today I'm going to just tap right here. And I'm going to have a conversation. I'm simply going to ask the Lord, open me up, all right, to the gift of vulnerability, you know, because I'm dealing with the actual oil of vulnerability. And to be able to figure out what is going on. So when you're trying to figure out something that's going on, you can just be like, all right, Lord, what's going on? I don't quite understand. Help me understand. Open my eyes to it. Open my heart to it. And you can just talk it through. Talk it through with the Lord. You can even do this with your prayers. But since we're going to do this with an oil, I know that I've been needing Clary Calm, and it's the oil of vulnerability. You can go to the emotions oil book, all right? And you can just read through that while you're tapping and see what emotions come up while you're tapping. So I'm going to read to you what the oil of vulnerability is all about. So it's the monthly blend. It encourages warmth in relationships, stabilize emotional imbalances, fosters emotional intimacy. It is a perfect blend for supporting pregnancy and child delivery as it strengthens the mother-child bond. This blend assists women in accepting their maternal instinct and nurturing qualities. Monthly blend assists relationships by teaching individuals to be emotionally open and vulnerable. It eases the fear of rejection and encourages individuals to receive true warmth and love in their relationships. It also encourages feelings of empathy for others by reminding them to stay receptive to the thoughts, feelings, and needs of other people. This blend works as a powerful emotional stabilizer, especially during menstruation or menopause. It releases emotional tension within the reproductive organs and helps release the expectations of suffering and dread related to the monthly cycle. In short, monthly blend encourages emotional intimacy and assists individuals in emotional balance. So some negative emotions that I could have been feeling or a person can be feeling is invulnerability, guarded, closed, dread of menstruation or menopause. All right, some positive properties, though, that this oil can support is to be open to being vulnerable, to feel empathy, to feel bonded, warmth, solace, emotional intimacy. So while a person is reading this and you're tapping, you might find yourself getting stuck all of a sudden in one of the sentences. So if you feel just that kind of jarring feeling, then that means that's the emotion, that's the area that needs to be addressed. So going back to my blog post, I am not dealing with pregnancy. I'm not dealing with child delivery. I have a great mother-daughter bond. I have accepted my maternal instincts and nurturing qualities. I know all of that is grounded and amazing. But the reminding me to be receptive to others' feelings, to feel understanding that I am more than likely entering into menopause due to the fact that I had a hysterectomy, that my system is, shutting down, knowing that, let's see, what was something that last week when I had tapped on, just fostering emotional intimacy, period. And to understand that my hormones are kind of harder for me to chart than what they ever used to be before. And that's something that I share about in the blog post. So understanding and respecting who I am is important. So when I tapped on it, I was able to get to the root of it. And then I was able to then really do my setup statement of, even though I'm feeling vulnerable, I know God loves me, and I completely and totally love and accept myself. And I do that 3 times. And then I go through my sequence of talking about the emotion, talking about feeling vulnerable, how sometimes I want to feel closed off instead. I don't want to keep myself open for others to be able to see my heart and to feel everything that I'm feeling. I don't want to be able to, feel vulnerable to be a victim, because I was before. And those are things that I have to continue to process through. So you see how, as you're doing a sequence, you can have things become enlightened to you. You can have things become aware, and you're able to realize, oh, that's what was possibly going on. And the oil, using it with the oil, helps support that emotional response, so that as you're tapping on the nervous system of your body, all right, remembering that it's acupressure points, all right, that it's then allowing the oils to also support you emotionally and physically. So they synergistically and beautifully weave together. It's just amazing. So the next time you find yourself feeling emotional and you feel drawn to a particular oil, then get it and diffuse it and tap and see how it ends up making you feel. And remember that even if you have, like I shared with my daughter, that I don't always like Clary Calm, that might mean that that's why you need that particular oil. Because let's look at, real quick, an oil. So this particular oil itself, it is to bring out positive properties of feeling that good vulnerability, to feel empathy, bonding, warmth, solace, emotional intimacy, all right? And so let's say, a person may say, well, I feel all of that, or I might just be feeling this or that, and I like the smell of it, so I mustn't have an issue, a problem, or anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that. So if you like the smell of an oil and you need that oil, then that is very good. All right. And it's all good. That means you don't have a struggle with that particular oil. All right. But let's say you have a negative reaction. You don't like a smell of an oil, and you go to read everything that is going on and what the oil is all about. It doesn't mean that you don't need support in that area. So whether I liked this oil or didn't like this oil, if my body is needing the support from this oil, it is needing to be able to be supported in feeling vulnerable. It is needing the support in feeling emotional intimacy. But if I'm having a negative reaction to it, if I'm not liking the smell, then that means my body is needing it even more. It's needing to assimilate it. It means that I have shut myself off so much to whatever that emotion is that my body is rejecting even the smell of something natural that is to draw in that positive emotion. So in order for me to assimilate it the best way, especially if I'm having a really negative reaction to smelling it close to my nose, is to put it on the bottom of the feet with an oil that you really do like, so that it can process in your body, so that your body can start feeling open to feeling that emotion, whether we're dealing with the emotion of vulnerability, whether we're dealing with the emotion of inner beauty, the emotion of digestion, the emotion of pain, honoring the body, perseverance, healthy relationships, nourishing, any of those emotions, all right? And remember, if you're feeling a negative response, it means that you actually need that oil even more so. Your body just needs to be able to become open and receptive to that support. Maybe you've created boundaries and walls for so long of not wanting to feel vulnerable because you saw vulnerability as a weakness. You saw vulnerability as being open to being a victim, right? So instead, seeing the beauty of vulnerability is open to intimacy, open to love, open to bonding. So I hope that is helpful of how to be able to thrive with your oils, thrive with your healing, thrive with this tapping, and to be able to combine it all together. It's amazing and wonderful, and it is so much fun because the more you do EFT, tapping, oils, all this stuff, the freer you are, and it is just amazing. All right, so before I hop off, though, real quick, I want you to know that for the next 5 days, I am going to be running a special. You can get started up with me with oils and to be able to be part of my private group, coaching, lots of other little goodies and everything, for as little as $63. So there's lots of different other plans and starter